All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Carter, how we doing, man?
Good, man. Good. It's a nice little Sunday. Got a lot of NFL action obviously going on. Celebrated my son's second birthday. That was actually last Sunday. Celebrated it with the family today. So smoked up a nice little pork shoulder, made some pulled pork, and got a cake and all that good stuff. Had a good time watching football and just hanging out with the family, man. How about you? How's your day?
Oh, same old, same old. Made some chili today and did the whole football palooza thing. Had a couple of the fellas over. They came over, watched some ball, and we are here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Love it. Love it.
And I guess we'll hop right in and we'll run down the
Yeah.
scores. The New York Football Giants, Danny Dimes, and the boys go into Cleveland against the vaunted Browns defense and get that W.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan of that at all. I watched every minute of that game pretty much. Um, it's tough, man. It's a tough look. Malik Neighbors is fucking legit. I mean, he is the real deal. Um, Deshaun Watson looked okay. I mean, he looked okay. Like it wasn't terrible. But the Browns are missing two starting offensive linemen already, and then three of their offensive linemen went down in the game, so they were down 5 offensive linemen after like the first quarter or second quarter. So they were just getting pounded up front. Deshaun got sacked 8 times, and they just couldn't do anything. Amari Cooper looked good, and defensively they made a change at halftime and had Denzel Ward just locked on Malik Neighbors instead of just letting him go to whichever side of the field. And Martin Emerson being on him or Denzel Ward. And when Ward locked onto him, he didn't really do much after that. So they made some good adjustments. Bottom line, they just couldn't get it done. Couldn't get it done. And then 4th and 5 or something like that at the end of the game, 3 minutes to go or something. And Amari Cooper gets hurt on the 3rd and 5 play, has to come out for a play. So they throw a little slant pass to Cedric Tillman, and then Cedric hits it right between the 1 and the 9 in the chest, and he can't catch it. Deshaun should have known better than to hit him right in the chest.
Well, it was a tough day all over on the Cleveland side of things. Amari Cooper balled out 7 for 86 and 2 tubs. If you had him in fantasy, congratulations, he got you some points. Moving on down the line, the Packers and Will Levis did not look good today. It looked like Tennessee, for the most part, struggled. They got rid of a lot of people, and they're trying to do a full-sale rebuild. I say good luck to you. They moved to 0-3.
Yeah. Bill Levis is what Bill Levis is. I think we all know that. He's going to continue to make stupid mistakes like he did, just falling down, throwing interceptions, shit like that. I haven't seen much about today's game, but the Packers are a good team. Did Jordan Love was out? Yeah, he was out. So it was Malik Willis again. So, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback for the Packers right now. It seems like they're just going to go out and get it done. They got all kinds of weapons all over the place. So, I mean, all in all, Tony Pollard and Will Levis are washed up. Or Tony's washed. Will Levis is just bad.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the folks in Tennessee. Another eye popper today. The Texans only put up 7 points against the Vikings.
That defense is legit.
Who would have thought the Minnesota Vikings? I know our guy Torg was down on the ball off season. He's like, Sam Darnold, hey, they have.
They're what, 3-0, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the Vikings 3-0. They put it on the Houston Texans. CJ 20 of 31 for 215 and 1 tub. Stephon Diggs 10 catches for 94.
It's not bad. Just got to get in the end zone. And Stroud also threw the 2 picks, so that wasn't good. And you look at it, Sam Darnold. I mean, he went 17 of 28. Not overly impressive, but decent. Only threw for 181 yards, but he had 4 touchdowns. So that means, and it's not like Aaron Jones was their leading rusher. He only had 19 carries for 102 yards. So it's not like they were putting up a ton of yards overall. I mean, if you look at the team stats, I don't think it's that much. So their defense was putting them in some very favorable situations. And like I said, that defense is legit. I almost picked them up today in my fantasy league because they're like the number 2 defense in fantasy. I ended up picking up I forget, I'll look it up, but I picked up somebody else's defense, and the Vikings defense got like 20 points, had a great day. Well, I picked up the Packers defense, and they got like 31.5 points, and I was like, all right, I picked the right one. But overall, man, the Vikings look legit. If Sam Darnold can keep from turning the football over, they have a strong defense, and if they can run the ball with Aaron Jones, they're going to be a decent team all year.
Aaron Jones went over 100 again today. So the Vikings look strong. It's not looking good out there in Houston. You know, they've struggled the last couple of weeks on offense. So I think CJ and the boys, and they got enough weapons there for it not to turn itself around. Moving on, the Eagles and the Saints, there was a scuffle after the game. That Dom character, the security guy that got banned, that I don't really know what his title is, but that guy seems to be popping up on the camera. The Eagles sneak out of there with a win today. They looked like they were dead in the water for 3 quarters, and the Saints couldn't do anything either. But somehow the Eagles escape with a victory in that one.
Yeah, I mean, I watched highlights on this and saw a couple plays as I was flipping on the, well, we'll call it the red zone or the Sunday ticket. Sure, that's what I was using.
Yeah.
And I just I was surprised because the Saints have looked great so far, and now they come out today and they just look terrible. I mean, not terrible, but they just couldn't move the ball efficiently. They couldn't close out drives. Chris Olave finally gets in the end zone. My fantasy team thanks you. And Kamara didn't look that great. 26 carries, 87 yards. But, Philly did enough to get the win, and they really needed that one.
Right. And let me address this real quick. Daniel, we're going to get to the Bears here. We're going to run through all the scores, and then we'll be talking some Bears football. So rolling through that, the Steelers end up getting a win today, beating the Chargers. Not really shocked. Herbert went out in that one. He
was ouchie coming into the day, wasn't he?
Yeah, I believe he was. Yeah. He was high ankle sprain. He got rolled up on by Cam Hayward. He's not a little man, so kind of fell on his leg. So that looked rough. In a game that I'm interested to get to, and also the Steelers defense looked. I think they got the best linebackers in the league.
They're good, that's for sure.
And Watt recorded like his 99th sack today. The Broncos somehow put it on the Buccaneers. I just kept seeing that game periodically. But
Bo Nix, baby. What do you mean somehow? Bo Nix.
Bo Nix. And then you also have a run through with the Raiders-Panthers. Andy Dalton comes out, throws 3 touchdowns, 300 yards. The Panthers looked like a playoff team.
We all know they're not, right?
Well, they keep winning like this, or maybe the Raiders are just that bad, but
the Raiders just beat somebody. I forget who the Raiders. That's the thing with the NFL. None of them are that bad. All right, they're all NFL teams.
Yes, those guys get paid too. So, keeping it rolling. The Dolphins looked absolutely anemic on offense. They looked horrendous.
They got fucking what's his dick down there throwing it now?
Yeah, and then he got knocked out.
Oh, did he really? Skyler.
Yeah,
that's right. Skyler Thompson. I tell you what, I just real quick. I know we're trying to move through this schedule, but if anybody ever came to me and was like, "Hey, I want to draft this kid, or I want to sign this kid to play quarterback," his name's Skyler, I'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here! I'm not playing some kid named Skyler. Get out of here!" Skyler's like that loser that sits in the back of the class with fucking like painted nails and sorry, that's Caleb Williams. with like eyeshadow and shit. Like that Skyler's not an athlete. He's not playing football. He's sitting there making music and doing that, which is fine. Go do that. But don't come to me and say Skyler's playing.
I believe Tim Boyle closed out the game for the.
See, that's a much better name. He probably sucks because his name's Tim Boyle, but at least it sounds like a dude that'd be like, yeah, okay, I can see him playing football. Now, if you get a Lamar or something, you're like, all right, this guy's gonna be a stud.
Yeah, and then with that rolling through, I mean, the Dolphins only put up a field goal, and it just wasn't great. The Ravens Cowboys, the Ravens almost completely blow it.
Oh my God. I was watching that game, getting ready to do this, and obviously I had volleyball with my oldest daughter, so I missed some of it. And I'm checking my fantasy, and I'm the dumbass that drafts Dak Prescott every year, I feel like. And I'm sitting there, and I was like, God damn it, I didn't put Aaron Rodgers in this week because I forgot to. He played on Thursday, so by the time I remembered, he had already played. He got 23 points. I'm sitting there, and Dak's sitting there with like 6 points. I'm like, God, of course, Dak's not going to go off the 1 week that I play him. And then I was sitting here, and I pulled it up, and he had like 25 points, and I was like, oh shit, I got to turn that game on. And he came to life and almost brought him back, man. I mean, the Ravens almost coughed that thing up. And if the Ravens lose that game and start the season 0-3, have you looked at their schedule?
Yeah,
they wouldn't make the playoffs. They would go 9-8 and miss the playoffs if they started 0-3.
Yep. So the Ravens. I don't know what they got to fix some stuff on offense. Obviously, it's not looking.
I think they finally kind of meshed. It seemed like in this game because Derrick Henry. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. He really hasn't done a whole lot the first 2 weeks.
Except today, he carried.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Carried the rock for 25 for 151.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I felt like the first 2 weeks they couldn't get Derrick Henry going, and they didn't know how to like implement him into their offense. And it felt like this week they finally got him going. And as soon as he started going, things opens up for Lamar in the run game. I mean, Lamar only threw 15 passes today. He only threw for 182 yards, but on 15 passes, that's pretty good. So I think they finally are starting to figure things out on offense. That honestly, it's such a Harbaugh offense. Like, I know it's not because they are tailoring it to Lamar Jackson because of what he can do, but Jim Harbaugh doesn't want to throw the football, wants to run it. John Harbaugh doesn't throw the football, wants to run it. And then little mini Harbaugh, Sharon Moore, can't throw the football and runs it. So these three, like 15 pass attempts in an NFL game is absolutely absurd.
Oh, well, you already know that the quarterbacking is so bad right now. Moving on, Brock Purdy and the Niners. I don't know if they're in trouble or what's going on because I thought they would have beat the Rams today.
Well, so I do know that they are missing. Obviously, CMC's out. They're also missing Debo and George Kittle.
Yeah, that's a big portion of the offense right there.
That's the majority of their offense.
The majority of their offense.
And then, I don't know if let me see here. I don't even know if what's his name played.
Ayuk.
No, he did. Yeah, he had 5 catches for 48. Okay, I was gonna say I feel like he might not have played even, but no, he did play. But yeah, they are so banged up at the skill position. They had their leading rusher was Jordan Mason, if you ever heard of that. And Brock Purdy was their second leading rusher with 41 yards.
Yeah, that's not good when Brock Purdy's carrying the rock for you. Last game on the list here before we get to the Bears game. The Detroit Lions squeak one out in Arizona, and I don't know how they managed to put that together because the red zone kept on. It just would not show the Lions game for some reason.
Yeah. So here, I actually know a little bit about this game because my sister was watching, and so I had it on the second screen and whatnot. But and this is back to what Daniel said because I know he brought up the Bears first, but he brings up the Lions, and he said, notice the Lions have been struggling to score in the second half of games. I have noticed that, and I know Lions fans have noticed that because if you look, they scored all 20 of their points in the first half. And then they didn't score again. And luckily, their defense played well enough to hold Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray in check and to keep them from scoring enough points. But yeah, so it's really interesting. Goff looks very inept in second half of games. I don't know if opposing coaches are making adjustments that he's not ready for or what it is. But the coaching staffs are obviously figuring things out with Goff specifically and just Detroit's offense and making adjustments at halftime. And for whatever reason, Detroit's offensive coaching staff doesn't realize it or doesn't know how to combat it enough. And so that's something to watch going forward for sure, because if you can't score in the second half of games, it's going to be a long year.
100%. And I wouldn't say there's issues in Detroit. I just think that they have a little bit of a cohesion problem.
Absolutely. I think there's not issues. It's just that they're working through some side, and you got to understand it's week 3. A lot of these guys didn't play in the preseason. A lot of these guys haven't played together much at all because of injuries and nobody. I mean, the preseason is just a glorified tryout for a bunch of guys that get cut. Like, I don't know. I don't follow the Lions close enough. I don't know if Goff played in the preseason at all. I'd imagine he didn't. Jameson Williams probably didn't. Amon-Ra probably did because he's a grinder like that. But they just have some things to figure out, and they're still trying to figure out how to utilize Jameson Williams properly, because he'll go off one week for 6 catches, $120 and a touchdown, and then the next week he gets 3 targets and gets 1 catch for 9 yards. And they just don't know how to utilize him properly and how to partner him with Amon-Ra, because they're neither one of them is a stereotypical big-bodied wide receiver. So trying to figure out how to use them. I think they're struggling on offense because of that. And running the ball, I mean, they seem to run the ball all right. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs had 83, David Montgomery had a 105. So I think they'll figure it out. And I think Dan Campbell's a really good coach, so he'll probably figure out how to make the adjustments necessary. But yeah, overall, it was a good. They're lucky to get out of there with a win, scoring 0 points in the second half. But good defense.
All right, turning the attention to the Chicago Bears. They took the L today. Caleb Williams, 33 of 52, 2 picks, sacked 4 times.
Whew. I mean, let's start with the good. Okay. 332. Is that what you said? 332?
No, 363.
Oh, 363. Oh, 332 is when you take the sacks out. Gotcha. So 363. Good number. 2 touchdowns. Excellent. Finally found the end zone in the air. Something that Notre Dame struggled to do for a long time, too. So that's good. I mean, that's improvement. Now, the bad news, you don't want a rookie quarterback throwing 52 times in a game ever. Ever.
I think they've got to find some type of identity at running the football, because
they don't have a running game. That's the issue.
And it was 28 for 63 today. That's not going to get it done. And I feel like, looking at the schedule going forward, they needed this Colts win today, because Anthony Richardson only completed 10 passes. The Colts are a bad football team. Some people will probably try to argue with me and, AR5 this, AR5 that, but he completed 10 balls today. I get it.
He's 50% passer, 10 of 20. I mean, they luckily they have Jonathan Taylor that can run the ball. I mean, he averaged 5 yards a carry today, which isn't electric or anything, but that's better than bad. And they got Trey Sermon, baby. Did you see Trey Sermon score?
Yeah.
How about that, my guy? But yeah, no, they needed this one. The Bears really needed this one more than the Colts did, for sure.
And I feel like the Bears defense is playing better. They shut Houston down. They held the Colts to 3 scores. Some people probably argue and contend and say, well, they didn't shut them down when they needed to. Well, this is also professional football, and they have only given up, they haven't gave up a lopsided number yet. And so I think that's a positive thing going
Yeah.
forward. I think if the Bears could establish some type of run game, it could be better. And some other in some other highlights, Rome Odunze 6 for 112. That's a good day for a rookie. He caught a touchdown.
He had to be getting so upset because he's one of the trio, right? Marv, Neighbors, Odunze. Those were the guys that everybody's talking about, and he's watching his boys, Neighbors and Marv, go the fuck off last week, and he's like, dude, can I get a ball? Like, can I get a ball, please? Just one.
And I feel like the Bears did a better job of integrating him into the game plan. DJ Moore.
Son of a. Sorry.
Had a pretty decent day, 8 for 78. Cole Kmet came up huge, 10
that's
10
just
balls.
what I saw. I was looking at his stat line because I forgot. That's an awesome day for a tight end, obviously. 10 catches, 97 yards, a touchdown. He was targeted 11 times, had 10 catches. That's fucking what you want, right? But the reason that I said motherfucker whatever is I was looking at fantasy this morning before I set my lineup, and I noticed that Evan Ingram was out. He wasn't going to be playing for Jacksonville. So I went and I didn't have a backup tight end. I drafted 3 quarterbacks, no tight ends. It was really stupid. I was doing a podcast live while drafting, if you remember, and I was not paying enough attention to the draft. But so I didn't have a backup tight end. So I went to the waiver wire, and I see Cole Kmet sitting there, and I'm like, he's a good tight end. I'll pick him up. Then I looked at his recent games, and I was like, hey, he hasn't been doing shit. Caleb's kind of iffy. He's only getting 4 to 6 targets a game. I'm not going to pick him up. I'll pick up the Jacksonville backup. And then I don't pick him up. Motherfucker goes out for 10 for 97 and a touchdown. God damn. That's 25 points right there.
Yep. That's kind of the luck of the draw with the fantasy.
Yeah. So back to the Bears, though, just real quick. The biggest thing is, and I know their offensive line is not good. I'm aware. Their coaching staff is not good. I don't know why. My thing that, and I said this in the offseason, I believe, I don't understand why you would move on from Justin Fields, but keep the same head coach in place and everything. Like if you are going to go and bring in a new era, a new change for your organization, you're going to bring in this face of the franchise, Caleb Williams, generational talent. Don't you want a new coach? Because this coach couldn't get it done. We already know that. Giving him a new toy to play with isn't going to make him a good coach. So I don't know why they kept with him so long, but the offensive line's bad. The coaching staff's bad. They can't run the ball. They, like I said, average 2 yards a carry. DeAndre Swift carried it 13 times for 20 yards. I'm sorry, DeAndre Swift, I liked you at Georgia, but I always knew you were never going to be a lead back. You can't carry the ball 25 times a game. You get hurt. And you're really good in the pass game. Just go be an Alvin Kamara light. You don't have to run the ball. You can be diet Alvin Kamara. And then which is why I thought they had a really good thing in Detroit when they had Swift and Montgomery. Or Swift and it wasn't Montgomery. He's there now. Anyways, they had the other running back that was more of a power runner, and they could bring Swift in as a change of pace. And they just don't have that here. Khalil Herbert only carried the ball 4 times. They just don't have a run game, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on the pass game. And Caleb Williams is too young, too inexperienced, and too inaccurate, I guess, to go out and get that done. He's going to extend plays too much. He's going to turn the ball over too much. It's going to put Caleb Williams in a lot of bad situations. You look at it, 4 sacks, 31 yards. That's not terrible given that he dropped back 52 times. But QBR 35, rating 80. He's just not able to make the plays yet. You can't. He's not Mahomes. You can't ask him to throw it 50 times a game right now. You need to help him with, and they tried to help him with weapons. Problem is, if you don't have the time to get the ball to those weapons and some of those weapons aren't in the backfield with you, it doesn't matter.
Right. And also, I believe Keenan Allen didn't play again today.
Yeah, he's still dead.
It's I wouldn't depend on Keenan Allen. He's good for about 6 games a year.
Yeah, and the other thing, even if he plays, though, that's not going to fix the issue.
Yeah, it's not going to fix the offensive line
And
issue.
Caleb fumbled once and lost it, so 3 turnovers for him. I'm pretty sure that was a strip sack or a sack fumble.
Yeah,
I'm all him.
Yeah, the Colts, that kid they got from UCLA, the first defensive player drafted.
Oh yeah,
and kind of in not to shut it down right away. I just feel like the Bears are counting on Shane Waldron to have him do the same things he did with Geno Smith, and I think a lot of what a lot of that was kind of on Pete Carroll. I just think that if
the other thing is, sticking on that point, if you're asking them to do what they did with Geno Smith, remember that they had a running game in Seattle. They had a decent running game that could get the job done and could move the ball and could relieve some of that pressure. Absolutely. Fast, short yardage passing, holding the ball, wait for deep routes. I mean, the problem is, I'd have to break down the all-22 film to know for sure what concepts they're running exactly. But I think the problem is that they're covering a lot of those shorter routes. I think they're doing a lot of levels concepts and concepts that are going to give you deeper routes on top of shorter routes. And if they cover the shorter ones, the deeper ones should be open. The problem is he's holding the ball too long and he doesn't have the time. And when those over-the-top routes are taken away, instead of checking it down, he tries to extend the play and have everybody run around because that's what he's done his whole career. And at USC, when he didn't have one of those deep routes, he would scramble around. The short routes would break vertical, and he'd hit them for a big gain.
And the other thing, too, is I feel like whenever Notre Dame played USC, when Caleb had like the 3-pick game, they played a lot of force corner.
Yes.
Took away that took away that speed out, like the hitch speed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, if the corner jumped the speed out, the hitch would be open. So I feel like they played a lot of force corner today. We're trying to make him throw the ball from 8 to 15 yards in tight windows.
Yeah.
And throwing a lot at him.
And again, I haven't watched the all-22, so I don't know exactly what concepts they're running because TV copy, it's hard to tell. And I don't know if there are reads that he's not making, right? Like, because from the TV copy, I can't tell if he's missing reads or if he's holding the ball too long and that's why the pressure is getting there, or if the play is taking too long to develop and the O-line can't hold the blocks long enough. You can't really tell that from TV copy. So I'll have to check out the all-22 and decide what is going on. But from the naked eye, it looks like the O-line is bad. They can't protect him. Caleb holds the ball too long because that's what he's always done, because he's athletic enough and has been his whole life that he can scramble around and extend plays and make big things happen. Unfortunately, when those two things combine in the NFL, it leads to a really, really bad situation because the pressure gets there, he gets nervous, starts extending plays, thinks he can still be Superman, and he's going to turn the ball over. That's what every big play extender like that, Baker Mayfield used to do the same thing. He's not even as athletic as Caleb. Johnny Manziel thought he could do it without even watching film. Like, you can go through the list of people that did that. Now, the good news is there are some scenarios where players like that work out in the NFL, like a Ben Roethlisberger, who he's not the same athlete at all, but he would extend plays because he's of just sheer size and he was so fat they couldn't tackle him. And so and then he would make things happen.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting going forward. Let me look and see who the Bears have next week. They have they got the Rams coming into town after getting the big win. So
their schedule sets up nicely here, actually. You got the Rams that's a toss-up. Either one could win it at this point. Well, let's see this. Hold on. Fun fact: this game saw Caleb throw the 11th most yards in a Bears game ever. Yeah, the quarterback play in Chicago has been bad for a very long time. That's true. Although 363 yards is probably up there for a lot of franchises. Even in today's game, you don't get a lot of people pushing 400 yards often. But you got the Rams next week, which will be a good match. I think, obviously Stafford is Stafford, but the Rams haven't been that good.
They got to go they got to go on the road. I think that's a big deal. And I think,
the Rams have to go on the road, yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Soldier Field. It's, if you're a dome team, and then you got to come out and you got to play in the wind, and it's going to be at the end of the month. You could get I live in Northeast Indiana. You could get a day like you had today, 50 degrees and rain in September. So who knows what the weather would be like last week? And then also being in the Midwest, you could have that pop up 3 o'clock shower. So
yeah, absolutely. And then the following week they got Carolina at home. That should be a win, although who knows with the Red Rifle or Red Rocket, whatever you want to call them back there, slanging it. Then Jacksonville, Washington, Arizona, New England. Those are 6 winnable games. You're not going to win all 6, but you're not talking about playing any heavy hitters until then you get into the NFC North schedule with Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, San Francisco. Now it gets tough. Now you might not get another win because – yeah, goddamn, that's tough, man. After New England, so the next 6 weeks are really when you gotta bank on getting some dubs because after that it goes Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, San Francisco, Minnesota, Detroit, Seattle, Green Bay.
Yeah, I don't like the back end of that schedule.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. And I mean, Green Bay is playing well. Minnesota looks really good. We broke down, their defense looks incredible. Detroit's still Detroit. They're going to be in contention for the NFC North. All 3 of the other teams in the NFC North look really good right now, and the Bears look okay. Their defense looks decent.
It's just that they got to find some consistency in the run game. So I think if they can find some consistency in the run game, I think they could be okay. And the Fighting Patrick Mahomes versus the Kirk Cousins have kicked off. We got Kirk
Cousins and the Fighting Dirty Birds are up 7-0, huh?
Yes.
I got a big ass TV right here. I didn't even see it. I wonder how they scored. Hopefully it was Bijan Robinson.
So. Well, yeah, and with that being said, we just wanted to hop on and give a little bit of a rundown from what we saw today. And
absolutely. Go ahead.
And if you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube and join the conversation and hit the like and subscribe and the bell notification so you know when we're live. And one other thing that somebody on this show picked the BYU Cougars to win in Provo. Yep, that was me. I believe St. Bill Snyder has acquired a beefy 5-layer burrito. So
I will give you your flowers on that one. You did pick that pregame when we were talking. So for anybody that doesn't know, that Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith, we talk college football, NFL, all sports, mostly college football and NFL. Go live at least twice a week right now, usually Mondays and Wednesdays. But we're also doing a pregame show on Saturday before Notre Dame games and some of the bigger games. And then we'll do some recap stuff on Sunday with NFL and everything like that. But we went live Saturday afternoon before Notre Dame kicked off at 3:30, as well as Michigan, USC, some of the other games going on. And Duke came on and he said he thought BYU was going to get it done and that whatever Bill Schneider would have to shove a beefy 5-layer right up the old B-hole. And he posted a video today. He acquired the beefy 5-layer. He put it in the freezer so that it wouldn't just mush. And apparently he's going to do it. Now, I hope I don't see a video of him doing it. I don't really need to see that.
But,
somebody needs to see it, though, just to prove that it's been done. You can't just say you did it.
I think I'd rather take the guy's word for it. But
you can get a good look at a T-bone by sticking your head up a bull's asshole, but wouldn't you rather take the butcher's word for it?
Touche, Callahan Auto Parts. But with that being said, I guess we'll go ahead and end it here so everybody can get to Sunday Night Football, and we'll see if the Dirty Birds can come up with a dub, because that's who I picked tonight. So
absolutely. Thanks again, everybody who hopped on it. If you're on Twitter, come check out the YouTube. We got some people in here chatting it up. We show most of them, but sometimes we don't get to some. So come hang out, like and subscribe, retweet, all that good stuff. And if you like the NFL content, let us know. Give us some feedback on comments and things like that so we can make sure to put more NFL content out there.
All right. With that being said, everybody have a good one, and we'll see you Monday night.